Good morning. Good morning. This is Bella, and I am Ramona McKee with Quick to Stitch, and this is Coffee and Conversation. Good morning. So, what are we going to talk about today? We're going to look at a couple of hats. We're going to dissect them. Good morning, Gail. Gail, it's so good to see you. Good morning. We're going to dissect the hats, which means I'm going to take them apart. Actually, I already have, but I'm going to show you pictures of everything I did. I take them apart. Oh, look, Cindy's here. Cindy says, "Good morning. Still working on her wreath. Have to tune in the next couple of days. I'll send photos." Oh, I'm so excited. Good morning. So, we're going to dissect some hats. Now, we did this one before, like years ago. Richardson 112. We all know that Richardson 112s are very popular hats. In fact, Bella, you're going to have to go lay down somewhere. There you go, because I need two hands. Richardson 112s. Richardson 112. This hat is very popular. It's very stiff, very hard to stitch. A lot of people have problems stitching this hat. Um, could be your machine settings, could be any number of things, but it does have a reputation for being not does not get along well with others. So, oh, Diane, good morning, Diane. Diane's here. Good morning. Oh, so yeah, the Richardson 112, very popular hat, but it's very hard to stitch. And we're going to talk about some of the reasons why. And we're going to, like I said, we're going to dissect a hat. We're going to tear it apart. And we're going to compare it to, hey, Barb. Barb is here. Barb is here from Minnesota. We're going to compare it to this Flexfit hat. Now, granted, it's stiff. Maybe not as stiff as the Richardson, but it has a very good reputation, too. And the other part of its reputation is that it is machine embroidery uh, machine embroidery it I'm sorry, I lost my word. um, Friendly, machine embroidery friendly. Here we go. um, Ooh, Cindy, are you talking about a comparison, or excuse me, a um, compatible hat, or a hat that can be substituted for the Richardson? If your customer wants that style but not that price, Richardsons are pricey. Show them the outdoor cap OC771. Might have to find that hat and give it a look see. So yes, this is the Flex Fit. Now I got the Flex Fit, which the adjustable, because the Richardson is also adjustable. I wanted to compare uh, apples to apples. Oh, she says that outdoor cap is close to the Richardson. So we're also going to tear this one apart. And we're going to see what's different between this one, what makes this one embroidery friendly, versus this one, the Richardson, that we know can be a troublesome friend to the embroidery machine. And to do this, I have a slideshow, a slide presentation. One moment. So let's get started with that. Let me bring this up. And there I am. All right, so um, These are our two hats. This is the Flexfit and the Richardson Flexfit and the Richardson 112. And we're going to, let me show you what makes these two hats. Um, the, One of the things that we see that makes these two hats different. Here's our Flexfit. This is the Richardson. Immediately you can see that the Richardson has two stitch lines down its center seam. Once we dissect the hat, we'll see what's underneath that seam. Gail, I agree with you. Flexfits are great hats. So, no stitching here. Stitching here. Let's find out why. We're going to start with the Richardson. Here's our inside of the Richardson. As you can see, there's some seam tape here. Actually, there's seam tape on both sides. Can you see that? There is a center seam, and then those two sides stitch lines hold down the seam tape on the underside. First thing I did was I removed the sweatband and I removed the bill, and then I just cut out the body of the hat. We didn't need that. That's not going to be part of what makes a Richardson and a Flexfit a Flexfit. But what I did was I found this piece. This is along the band area. Can you see this? It's along this bill to top area. It's just a 1/4 inch piece, and it's a thin plastic, but it gives structure and support to this area of the hat. Next, I tore out the two lines of stitching on the inside of the hat. Oops, sorry. Did I get ahead of myself here? No, I did not. Oh, where'd the picture go? All right, let's see if we can turn this upside down. Let's see. Because what I want you to see here, all right, in the Richardson, what does this seam tape hide? It hides 6 layers. You have the fabric layer, you have the buckram layer. In the seam tape, there's actually 2 layers there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and because this is folded over, 5, 6. So you're trying to stitch 6 through 6 layers of material in this seam tape area. You know, once you get past this center seam, it stitches okay. But that center seam gives us a headache every time because there are 6 layers of material. I set up these hats on the machine to stitch. They're going to stitch the exact same design, and they're going to stitch from the same start position. I set it up so it will start as low into the bill as possible without causing damage to the strap of the hat frame. Now, the one thing I want you to notice, Can you see this little dip here? All right. This area, this first 1/4 inch area, is where that plastic seam tape, not seam tape, but that plastic strip was. And it does not give. Between the strip, the stitching here, the structure is so firm that it will not come down any lower to the needle plate. So we're going to stitch, 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 stitch. See this divot right here? That's that 1/4 inch area that does not give. And what happens when you try to stitch really low on the front of a hat, that area that doesn't give is going to displace some of your stitches. I know we all want to try to get that design as low as possible on the front of those hats, but when we do that, we distort our stitches because this area does not give. Again, this is that area that has no give. If we tried to stitch here, because it does not come down to the needle plate, you're going to have needle breaks, you're going to have thread breaks, you're going to have all kinds of issues trying to stitch here. All right. Any questions about stitching the tearing apart and stitching of the Richardson 112? Bella's throwing a fit here. All right. We are going to move forward to the Flexfit hat. Now, if you remember, way back at the beginning, the Flexfit hat had no seams, or excuse me, had no stitching on the sides of that center seam. Thanks, Diane. So what does the underside of the Flexfit look like? This seam tape is one layer that covers this seam, and it's applied with a heat activated adhesive. Good morning, Jessica. Jessica's here. Good morning. Jessica, we're talking about the Flexfit NU 6110 hat that is embroidery friendly. But again, it has one layer that is secured to the hat with a heat applied adhesive. Now we're going to dissect this one the same way we did the other one. We're going to take off the hat band, the sweatband, and the bill. We're going to cut away the excess. Exactly, Diane. No double layers of 3 layers. Remember, the Richardson had 3 layers of material that not only individual layers, but were folded over to make 6 layers of material in our center seam. So again, like I said, we're going to dissect this one the same way we did the Richardson. And it does have that same bit of plastic right there. I order my hats from S&S Activewear. I also have a Sanmar account. I have not checked Sanmar to see if they carry it, but I do know that S&S does. So again, the Flexfit hat has this same plastic that gives some rigid support to that bottom center seam. But look, here's that tape. I pulled up the tape. And again, it is, it's adhesive. I just pulled it up. And what is this? This is that center seam. Look at that. Look at how thin that is. The buckram does not go all the way to the edge like in the Richardsons. Um, Actually, the Richardson is a standard construction, so a lot of your hats are going to have that double fold going through 6 layers. This FlexFit hat does not have that. The buckram, the inside layer, does not go all the way to the seam area, but the seam tape does cover that raw edge along with, and I can only say that's about 1/8 of an inch. That seam allowance is about 1/8 of an inch. If I were to venture a guess, I would say that, well, I don't know, skilled workers can probably make a pretty standard 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. But personally, I would have to do at least 1/4 of an inch and cut it down. Jessica wants to know if that seam tape is safe to embroider through. Yes, absolutely. Um, I was concerned that the seam tape might be too stiff, but if if you hold on, let me find that hat. Here it is. Here's the hat. Let me go back up here. Here it is. It's like it's soft. It's soft. Um, Trying to determine whether it's a woven. No, it's not woven. Has a little bit of stretch to it, but it does not pull apart. It does not fall apart. So again, we have that 1/8 inch seam allowance. And again, the buckram does not come all the way to the edge. And just like the Richardson, the buckram, it is an adhesive that holds this in place. It's very easy to stitch through. We set it up on the machine to start stitching at the same place, the same location. And I'm sorry, all the pictures did not come across. I suppose I could have reloaded another hat. Um, and this one does have that same dip when you're stitching. Remember this on the Richardson? Yes, it has that same dip. That's because of that band that supports this area. So we're going to start stitching the same place, and we do all our stitching. So again, let me just recap here. Just like the Richardson 112, we have this bit of space here that is supported by that plastic band at the bill seam. And our FlexFit has the same kind of band support area. And we stitch. Again, it's the same exact design. Now, here's what I want you to see. Obviously, you know which one is the Richardson and which one is the Flexfit. Do you see the distortion here in the lettering? It seems, and these are like really close up. Good morning, Susan. It's good to see you. And yes, it'll be on the YouTube. You can rewatch it anytime that's convenient. If you have any questions, you know where to reach me. All right. Now, between the two of us, this hat, between the two of us, there's like you guys are all out there. Between all of us, this FlexFit hat ran so smooth. The Richardson 112 N hats with this center seam, my machine gets louder. My machine gets louder when it's in this area. Over here on the FlexFit, it ran as smooth as any flat design. All right. Diane wants to know a measurement. Let me see if I can find, not that one. Let's go over here. All right. So here's our FlexFit hat. Now, this measurement, whether it's the Richardson, any other hat with a center seam, or this FlexFit, to avoid that bump area, I'm measuring here. You want to go up approximately 15 millimeters. 15 millimeters, and that'll give you a good surface, a good location for start. And 15 millimeters is just over a half inch, but not quite 3/4 of an inch. All right. And of course, take some time and test this on your own machine. I have to say, I really like this FlexFit hat. I will check out the OC771 that Cindy talked about, the outdoor cap, to see how it compares. But I just wanted to share with all of you this hat. And I'm sure it's been out for a while. And one of our regular viewers, Doug, he's not here today, but he did point out that I had a typo in my description, which has since been fixed. This is a FlexFit 6110 NU hat. All right. I really like the way that it's stitched. It was so smooth and so easy. There was no massive slowdowns, unlike with the Richardsons and the center seams, where the machine has to power up a little bit more to get through that area. Really nice hat. Do we have any questions? Any thoughts? Anything anybody wants to share about these hats? Any questions about hats in general? Any questions in general? I got the background fabric up. Haven't figured out how to put my frames back yet, but I will. Diane, thank you. Thank you. Um, like I said, I haven't gotten the frames up yet, but they'll come back. I just got to figure out how to mount them to the wall. I think I'm going to wind up poking holes in the fabric, but it'll work. You're welcome, Cindy. Cindy says that she appreciates the time to show us a comparison. Great information, Cindy. I'm excited to pull in one of those outdoor caps that you mentioned and see how they compare. So that's about all I have for today. Oh, Danny, we have a new person. Danny and Charlotte. Who do we have here today? Danny or Charlotte? New to embroidery. Could you say the suppliers you use again, please? Oh, sure. Um, in fact, let me hang on. Let me pull this up. And we pull this up. And we go here. Hello, Charlotte. Sanmar. And I'm pulling up the websites for you. All right. I use S&S Activewear. Excuse me. And Sanmar for supplies, for garment supplies. Now, you say you're new to embroidery, Charlotte. My question to you is, do you have your resale? Most states have a resale registration. Do you have that? Um, if you have that, you can register with these suppliers as a reseller, which means that you get wholesale pricing. So look into that if you haven't. Speak to your local small business administration, or if you have an accountant that you work with for, even, your personal accountant, ask them about it. Or you could Google search reseller registration for your state. So, okay, well, next week I'll have the frames back up. Um, Not quite sure what we're going to talk about next week, but you're welcome, Danny. Oh, I'm sorry. You're welcome, Charlotte. Um, if you have any thoughts, any questions, anything that you want me to cover, where am I? I have no idea what I'm doing. Exit screen share. There we go. If you have any questions, any thoughts, anything you want to maybe see, or you want to have demonstrated, just reach out to Quick to Stitch. If you Google me, you'll find a Facebook and a website and Instagram. All right. All right. With that, we're going to say goodbye. Let me get my video up here. Give you a wave. Fun? Do you have more questions? Do you want to learn something new? Join me at quicktostitch.com for coffee and conversation, and we'll talk about it. Embroidery machines, designs, and business. Hope to see you soon. Bye now.